5 or 6 or 6:30, it's off for review. We've got 3 very important updates coming to Marvel Strike Force on Monday. We're going to go over all of them. Got to let your alliance mates know about them as well. And then also, a lot of people have been asking, where is the customer appreciation event? So we're going to talk about all of that. First thing we're going to talk about is going to be the update to Diamond Stores. So they've walked this back pretty drastically. And we'll talk about whether that's a good or bad thing. But update to Diamonds says, when looking at sales results, I don't know why they put the word combat. I feel like they should put, when looking at sales results, we can see that Diamonds are not achieving many of the goals we initially set for them. We will improve the stats of the Diamonds to bring the feature closer to the attention. Well, no kidding. They were $100 a piece, and you got the privilege of buying 20 of them. You could spend, what, $2,075 initially on Diamonds, and and then not even get close to the $2,500 required for the stamps. So they're walking back the price. If you looked in game, I'm not going to go over it in offer review, but now they're $40 and they're boosting the stats. And this is going to go into place on Monday. Here are the total stat boosts for Diamonds after this update, including the 75% boost from the red stars. Diamonds for level 1 will go up by 15. I believe it was 10 before. Level 2 by another 15%, which was 10 before. And the diamond level 3 went up by 15%, now go up 20. So I believe before it was a total of 35% stats that you could achieve by going from like 7 red to 3 diamond. Now it's going to be a 50% boost. Now, it doesn't actually work out to be a 50% boost. It works out being like a 25% stat boost because it's additive to some other multiplier. I don't know if I said that correctly, but if you're a math guy, you can correct me in the comment section. But it seems to me that if you go from 7 red to 3 diamond under this new system, it's not a 50% stat increase. It's like 25% in reality. So is this a good or a bad thing? I'm a little bit indifferent towards this. I think that this is good for PvE content. For example, the Goblin trials or the Incursion raids, depending on how they tune it. As far as PvP content, this will drastically benefit the heavy spenders. So, this game, I've said it many times, definitely is a pay-to-win game, right? You could spend money for more power. And obviously the sales weren't good enough because people weren't thinking they were getting enough value. The price was way too high. So they lowered the price and they're increasing the stats. This will give spenders an advantage. Absolutely will give the heavy spenders an advantage over the non-spenders because they're going to have a larger percentage of their roster at these stats, or maybe they'll have a max out roster. I don't know. But if you don't play against those top spenders, then maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe this is a good thing. I know that I did see multiple comments from the community members saying that the diamond stars did not feel impactful. So, in addition to that and them getting more sales potentially, I guess I get why they did it. But for me personally, I play up against some of these large alliances, like Legion and things like that, and so on and so on. And so this is probably going to negatively impact a player like me more than most people, but we'll see how it plays out. Next, War is going to be changing on Monday as well. And the main change here is going to be that Rebirth are going to get some massive boosts from the global rules, 50% primary stats. So think about like what they did with Black Order, right? This is a similar type of buff, let's say. 50% primary stats to defending war-ready Rebirth allies, not exhausted. They spawn with revive once, speed up, and 2 safeguard and defense up. Rebirth, revive with 50% health. Captain America spawns with taunt. There you go. So maybe get with your alliance before the next war cycle, which starts on Monday, and put Rebirth on defense, right? And then lastly, we've got the blog post, and in the blog post, they talk about the Incursion raids. The Incursion 2 raids will be coming to the game on Monday, and some of the details for that I think are good. For example, there's not going to be these silly room bonuses that completely negate the last season of the raids. Also, it doesn't look like they're going to be pressing us to have like crazy ISO requirements or anything like that. So we're going to go over that here in the blog post. Let's just go through most of the blog post. This is a 2-week blog post. Next week here in the States is Thanksgiving, and so there will not be a blog post next Friday. Most people will not be working here in the States. At least for the last part of the week. I know for myself, Wednesday through Saturday, I'll be out of town myself. All right. Mega Red is going to be a permanent legendary event. I think that is great. We're going to have a Captain Carter Blitz. We're going to have the event that we talked about at the beginning of the video for earning allied to orb fragments by playing war battles. Incursion Raid 2. We're going to go over the details of that here in a minute. The season battle pass season 8 for Ironheart and the extra dark promotion credits. On the 23rd, we're going to have the event for earning superior secret orb fragments. 24th, Blitz with secret defenders. Then the 27th, we're going to have Spider Slayer, which is going to be the next character part of the Superior 6. I know we're doing the Green Goblin event, and I've got some issues with the Green Goblin event and the City Villains nodes. We're going to talk about that here in a minute as well. The Black Cat Trials Run 2 will be happening on the 27th, so I'll be able to get my Black Cat finally to a 7 stars. Spider Slayer event, and then the Strike Pass. And then the 28th, we will have Superior Sinis earn allied 2 sword fragments, win Cosmic Crucible battles, and win or lose with Sinister 6. Fantastic. I have to see how that plays out. Hopefully we have enough with Green Goblin to make a team that makes sense inside of Cosmic Crucible, right? We'll see. Hopefully this is not another event that feels like the one that we had with Wakanda. November 30 weapons online, earn Pack-a-Punch, Orb Fragments, Campaign Nodes, and spin Power Cores. Me and the Boys, Quick Rumble, Blitz with Sinister 6, fine. This is kind of important. Sylvie to the War Store. And Darkhawk will be going to the Orbs. Bumps is the acronym for all the orbs, like the basic orbs, so on and so on. Photon will be farmable in Hard Villain 7.6. I already went and favorited Photon so that I'll remember to do that. Now we're going to skip down here a little bit, and we're going to go all the way down to the Incursion raids. I feel like that's the most important part of the entire blog post. The battle for the multiverse heats up on November 20th, which is going to be Monday, with the next chapter in the Incursion raids. Incursion Raid 2 will call upon your strongest raid teams, including the specialties of raid newcomers Pegasus, and will feature updates from the first Incursion. Keep in mind that nodes are not necessarily meant to be simmed, which is code for they're going to be hard. I think that's what they're trying to say here, is it's going to be hard. Good news, bad news. I think they're going to be hard. Good news is that the restrictions are not going to be there. Incursion Raid 2 will launch with 4 difficulties. Normal and difficulties 1 through 3, which can be selected using the raid difficulty selector, and will possess lanes requiring the following traits: Mystic, Tech, Mutant, Bio, and Skill. Upon reviewing player feedback regarding Incursion Raid 1, there will not be any combat modifiers within the raid lanes. I think that's fantastic. I thought it was really terrible what they did on the last season of raids. Characters must be equipped with a minimum of T2 Blue ISO 3, which I think is fine. I mean, I know myself personally, I don't have any shortfall on Blue ISO 3. It's actually more of a problem for Blue ISO 4 for me than even Blue ISO 5. And so that is fine. You know, I think this would have been a hassle if we had a Blue ISO 4 or Blue ISO 5 requirement. So I think both of these things are good, right? I think most people would agree that this is good. Characters must be equipped with a minimum of Blue ISO 3. Okay, level 95, 7 yellow stars, 6 red, gear tier 16. And that's the recommendation probably for the basic normal difficulties. I'm expecting this to be hard. Rewards, enemies are fierce, but the rewards are emerging victorious in battle are great. Among the many rewards will be gear tier 18 pieces, so you can get your super scroll, right? And elite raid credits. 3 new slots in the raid store will be devoted to awakened ability materials. Interesting. with 6 total abilities rotating within the 6 slots. Interesting. I do like that, because we weren't sure how we were going to get that on like Nova and Black Cat and so on and so on. So there is the raid map. And they're talking about the Elite Store updates. Following characters now available for Red and Diamond Star promotions: Elite Star, Ronin, Mockingbird, Tigra, Iron Man, Infinity War, Darkhawk, and Iron Heart. MK2, that's the new one. Raid updates. So this is talking about the Incursion Raid 2, which is coming on Monday. Will usher in updates to other raids, including Ultimus Doom and Greek raids, because we play the Greek raids along with the Incursion raids, Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. These updates detailed below to reward thresholds, and rewards themselves will go live on Monday as well, while Orb updates will go live on December 5th at 1 o'clock. All the adjustments outlined below will help players of all commander levels advance newer raids and enjoy better rewards in the future. All right, so then they talk about the thresholds changing, and then which we're going to skip over that part, but we're going to talk about the new rewards. In an effort to help everyone advance to the latest and greatest gear orbs, orange elite orb fragments have been added to Doom 1, while teal elite orb fragments have been added to Doom 2. Note: rewards of purple and orange gear orb fragments have been removed from nodes and moved to raid completion rewards. This should help ensure an equitable distribution of these rewards to all members of Alliance. Accompanying this update is a general increase of purple, orange, and teal gear in Doom and Incursion raids. So not changing the characters. Doom 1, which I don't think they want us hoarding, and I think they're mindful of hoarding, and that's why they're doing it that way. Doom 2, difficulty 1, ISO 8 requirements were reduced from T2 level 2 to T2 level 1. Doom 3, normal, and difficulty 1 have also been reduced from T2L3 to T2L2. This is being done to bring the requirements in line with Incursion. And here's the Orb contents. Rounding up the updates are Orb Content Updates. Blue, purple, and gear raid orbs will be updated with improvements to drop quantities and a large increase in catalyst parts for the purple and orange raid orbs. The teal elite orb will also have gear tier 16 mini uniques, drop quantities doubled, right pillar. All right, fantastic. Now let's get into some other issues. Firstly, if you haven't spent your Incursion energy, go do it now. I know I need to. That's a reminder to myself, by the way, but I always forget. Never mind the offer, nothing to see here. So a lot of people have been asking, I've saw multiple Reddit posts about where the player appreciation event is. It started yesterday. Oh my God. I don't think this is what people were thinking. There's a 10 for 10 in the store. Yesterday it was 10 Peggy Carter shards. Today it is 10 training materials for 10 cores. And that's it. I saw multiple posts on Reddit about this. Yeah, because they changed the post. It says we had player appreciation event listed taking place on November 15th. It will be later in the month. It's already started. It started 2 days ago. I know that's not probably what you want to hear, but that's what it is. Also, a lot of people have been asking about Green Goblin ISO, and the community is split on Striker or Raider. Initially on the test server, I did Raider, and I was happy with that. I'm going to start off with Raider. I'm only going to take Green Goblin initially to Blue ISO 4. Actually, right now I only have it for Blue ISO 3. I'm going to start off with Raider, and then maybe we'll switch to Striker. The ISO attack is listed here, and so I think that's why a lot of people are not only trying to get the higher damage, but they are wanting to get the defense down on the ISO attack. So let's talk about the Green Goblin trials. And I'm a little bit frustrated with this, and there's a lot of posts here. This is actually a very high upvoted post for Reddit, but there was 2 of them today. Surprise, Green Goblin trials are trash. Here's another complaint post for the pile. Nova and Black Cat trials were not easy. I felt like it actually have a fair attempt at higher tier options. Actually, to get an almost 5 yellow Black Cat in the first round. And that was the first time I ever got to complete that level. It felt amazing. I was challenged, but it felt fair. It felt fair. And this, what the post is working on, is that the city Villains was sprung on us last minute. And in fact, it's more restrictive than the other parts of the event. So Scopely, Boundless, Marvel Strike Force had the benefit of telling us early that we were going to need new Avengers. Get your new Avengers, buy the offers. And we did. Well, some of us did, but we at least started working on it. And then they told us a while back ago that it was also going to have Rebirth. And so we a lot of people felt prepared. It's like, okay, the two teams that we're going to need to get going is going to be New Avengers and Rebirth. And then they sprung on this city villain. And this is not the first time that they've done this to us. They actually did this, I believe, well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pulling this off the top of my head, but this was the Archangel event, right? What they did this with the minions, like they sprung the minion thing on us last minute. City Villains is very restrictive, very, very restrictive, and it's not a lot of fun. This post outlines that as well. Now, the one thing I want to say is, first of all, I think that this is mostly about messaging and not being given, early enough notice to prepare for this. We just found out about the reworks. The reworks just went live. We're still getting our feels out on, which one of the Sinister Six we want to upgrade with this Vulture or Mysterio or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we're still like getting into it, right? And and then there's not a lot of good choices in this city villain. And they also did Global Blaster, but I feel like there's better choices there. So I just don't know if the amount of time that we were given was sufficient to plan or enough notice. I feel that the big letdown on this and what feels bad about this in general is that a lot of people felt like they were thoroughly ready for the Green Goblin legendary event with Rebirth and New Avengers, and like, nope, it's gonna be a city villain. And but I do want to say this also. My experience in general with Hero Collector games, I've been playing Marvel Strike Force and Galaxy of Heroes. In general, most of the time, these legendary events get more complicated and more restrictive and more challenging as time go on. The only exception to that rule maybe was with Apocalypse. I felt like that was a lot harder than what they're doing now. It's just different, I guess. But my expectation going forward is that this will continue. That's just what Hero Collector games do. So my thing is about the messaging and the amount of time that we're given with this garbage requirement, city villain. That's my issue. Let me know what you think about that. I don't know. Also, let's go over some offers real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up the video. There's a dual training material offer. I didn't screenshot it, but this one's actually better. Or the individual training orbs themselves give 35 of these, and so this is actually one of the better offers if you're just looking for training materials. I know I need training materials because I can't upgrade my Green Goblin. And then there's some gold. I'm probably going to end up picking this up. Bifrost care package, 100 Vol shards for $10 along with beta. There is an event, and I did screenshot the event. Let me see, the event is right here. So keep in mind, for the Stark event, which is going to be ending in the next 4 days, also has 100 Vol shards in there. And then also it's worth noting that Vol is on the special character list. And what that means is that Scopely is committed to making normal characters available through engaged player normal play to be at 7 yellows within 6 months. And here's a list that's provided by the Players Council of an exception to those characters. And Vol is one of those characters that is on that exceptions list. So do what you got to do for Vol. I think that might give me a head start on those raids. I'm expecting the raids to be challenging, so I'm going to be considering that offer for sure. Also, this right here is designed in a way to help you possibly on the Green Goblin. And so you get 50 of 3 relatively new characters right there for $25, 150 shards. Photon is going to be farmable soon. This is Arena Team. Robbie's one of my favorite characters of the game. I took all 3 of these characters to gear tier 18 for Dark Dimension 6, and I've been happy with all 3 of them. But anyways, you got 45 times 3 for $20. Quarg, who's technically available in, I don't know, if Raid Store or one of those stores. And then we've also got Firestar. What do you think? What do you think about the Green Goblin? It's very controversial. I think people should be and are upset about the Green Goblin. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Bye for now. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. Whatever. Bye.